We are back on trail, climbing up the ski resort at Snoqualmie. There's chairlifts right there. And this whole section on the mountain, the ski mountain, is just lined with huckleberries. So we're just kind of picking our fill as we're walking along. And I got a new shirt. My last shirt, I ripped one of the buttonholes. It was just like, wouldn't stay closed. And then the armpit was wearing out, got like really thin. It was like starting to fall apart. So that didn't work out so good. There's so many berries here. There are also some thimbleberries. That one was a salmon berry. This is pretty good. We just found a strawberry patch all down there. Oh, so sweet. But they taste like candy. They're so good.
These are foxglove. They're poisonous, but I know they make some kind of medicine from their extract. They do something with them. Huh. They got white ones too, which are kind of,
yeah, these are really pretty.
As the purple. The purple are all around my house. But yeah, I like the spots inside.
Yeah. These are pretty. Huh. I just suddenly walked into a whole bunch of them along the trail. It's really cool. I guess there's I-90 down there. That's where it just came from. Well, I haven't seen any of these yet on the trail. They're just suddenly like beautiful. Wow. Chuck is going to talk about salmon berries.
I don't know, I was going to.
I guess I was going to talk about salmon berries. There are so many delicious salmon berries. This like bush has so many ripe ones.
Power lines are clear to get all the sun.
Yeah. I'm still missing my silver umbrella. It was not at Snoqualmie. I checked around at the stores. It's just not there. So hopefully it turns up. It would be nice to get that back. And then while at from Snoqualmie, we stayed at Duck's mom's house. I was able to find 2 holes in my sleeping pad, which is why I keep waking up with my butt on the ground. So I found one, patched it, and then I said, hey, you know what, I'm gonna do this again, see if there's another hole, and there was. I think that's the only, I think I got them all. Fingers crossed tonight.
Kind of looks like someone's backyard, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Skating waterfall.
So I'm curious, what would you like to see more in my videos? Leave a comment at the bottom of this video and I'll try to include more of that. Either more footage of being in camp or like daily tasks like getting water. Let me know and I'll try to include more of that. So yesterday I took a 0 and let my foot kind of heal up. And it's doing a lot better. Still a little bit sore, but it's recovering quite nicely. It's not really impacting my ability to do miles. So that's really good. I was concerned about that. There are some seriously monster mushrooms out here. This thing is as big as a dinner plate. I've seen ones that were bigger, but there's another one over there. Just can't believe how big they can get. It's crazy. This is the 3rd set of power lines that I've passed. They're all kind of spaced out like half a mile between. And then there's Rainier off in the distance. It keeps getting closer. Or I keep getting closer to it. The views just keep getting better. I've done about 20 miles. I'm gonna do 2 more. It's finally cooling off. It feels a lot better. But Duck and I have just been dripping sweat all morning, or all afternoon. It was rough. So Duck and I were considering camping at this campground, And I'm really glad we decided that we would do more miles because there's bear poop in the campsite. Look at that. All those huckleberries, like some of them look like whole huckleberries. Like where people are setting up their tents. That is not a good spot to camp. No, it's like, of course you're gonna have a bear stop by, fuck with you in the night, try to take your food or poke its nose in your tent. That looks like it'll be a bad night for whoever ends up camping there. I'm gonna go on another like 2-ish miles. Hopefully there's a lot less bear activity there. So Duck and I did part of our resupply at a Japanese market. I got this udon and I added some hard-boiled eggs to it. We packed out a ton of pastries. Or as I did. I had gotten all sorts of Japanese candy and Pocky. I can't remember what these are called. These red bean paste cakes, and I got some rice cakes with red bean in them as well. We got a melon bread here. Yeah, we got all sorts of really good stuff. And then Duck packed out some spicy tuna rolls. This was a really good resupply. I'm so excited for this. I think I should add more liquid to it though. Yeah, this will be good. So early this morning, before sunrise, there were a bunch of elk. They weren't at camp, but you could hear them calling out to each other. I've never actually heard an elk in person. I've never really been in elk territory before, so that was so cool to hear that. There's actually a bunch of elk tracks on the trail right here, I think. Or maybe they're deer. Oh, it's hard to tell. There were definitely a couple big ones by the water source, like right outside of camp. But that was pretty exciting. This is a pretty neat road. So it cuts up this mountain and goes across and does a loop right there, just around a little patch in the middle of nowhere. It's a little dead end turnaround or something over that cliff. Also, my feet are in so much pain today. I think it was because the end of yesterday I wasn't taking shoes off breaks much for like the second half of the day just to try to get to camp in time. And feet were kind of sore. I figured they'd feel better in the morning, but I have all these like sore spots on the heel of one foot, and then the other foot it's like 2 spots near the ball of my foot where it's like hard to walk, because it'd be easy if it was like both of my heels and then I could more walk on the balls of my feet, or if it's the balls of my feet I could try to walk more on my heels, but since it's the opposite for each foot, it doesn't work out so well. So I've been moving slow today. I was hoping to make a lot more progress since we woke up early. I was hoping to be there by now. Well, we're trying to make it to a cabin that's 23 miles from where we camped last night. And then I think it's blisters forming, but I've got heavy calluses in these spots. So these are like sores underneath the calluses. I tried to get it with a needle, but I couldn't really, it just hurt a lot. Like I wasn't able to drain any blisters, so I don't know. Hopefully it gets better. Hopefully another night's rest. So last night when I went to brush my teeth and pee before bed, I ended up leaving my tent open. It wasn't really buggy out, so I didn't really worry about it. I came back and I heard a little crinkle and I'm like, what? I get in my tent and there's a mouse in there with me. I had to chase that thing around and try to get it out. I didn't even see it leave, so I had to go through all of my stuff a couple times to make sure it wasn't like in my pack hiding or something like that. That was a bit ridiculous last night. but I was like awake for 30 minutes afterwards, just kind of like listening, trying to hear if I could hear it moving around, but I think he got out. Between Duck going slow yesterday just because he was tired, and then me moving slow because my feet really hurt, we got into camp late when it was still light out. So it was after like official sunset, and everyone was already in their tents, like trying to go to sleep. So we were the last ones in camp. No one else came in after us. And then we're also the first ones to leave in the morning. Everyone else was still in their tents. Some people were starting to pack up, but like we're the first ones to leave. It's definitely an interesting feeling. We didn't get to meet any of them, but oh, and here's the other thing. We're going southbound, but there's like no other southbounders. We're just hitting this wave like every day of northbounders that skip the Sierras. I think that's what most people did. They just got to Kennedy Meadows. It was either Walker Pass, Kennedy Meadows, or Kearsarge. That seems to be the most common one that everyone skips up to the California-Oregon border. I guess that's Ashland, or maybe they go to the end of the Sierras and then go north from there. That seems to be what most people did, and they're just heading north. There's no like southbounders around us. I have no idea where everyone else that we've been hiking with. They're just either ahead or behind us right now. So my feet still hurt really bad. It's still all the big calluses. Feels like blisters are forming underneath them. They're just like moving around and just being so painful. It kind of feels like walking on hot blacktop with scattered Legos, like barefooted. Yeah, that's what it feels like. I think my feet are definitely swelling up. Yesterday when I soaked them, like a lot of the swelling went down and my shoes felt a lot looser, so I don't know. My body feels great, like I'm ready to just like go, but my feet are just screaming at me. A little bit nerve-wracking taking a break in here because this duck and I were taking a break. Random trees and branches would just fall down and make a lot of noise. So we had to think about potential of being hit by something. It's not a very good place to camp. But this has been going on for a while. I wonder when this fire passed through. There are a ton of fresh elk prints up and along the trail here. There's another one there, like on top of the last set of tracks. There's a few different sizes. I've been walking along the trail in this direction. A couple of them pointing to the other direction. But I wonder if I'm going to come up on some elk. At least I hope we get to see some. Rainier just looks incredible from this distance. It's just massive. Working on soaking my feet in this lake. I think it's Sheep Lake. It's just about sunset and we set up camp. There's this lovely log in the water that I'm sitting on. Kind of walked out to it. It's perfect. All the fish here keep breaching the water. This one right there. Guess this is the entrance to Mount Rainier National Park, according to the bridge sign. I get to go over the bridge. It's exciting. My feet are still hurting so bad. Another painful day on my feet. This is a pretty cool bridge. So I just ran into Simless. He's heading northbound, and he's the guy that gave me my trail name, Saucy Minx. That was back in Acton, California, which is pretty cool, just running into him. I look forward to running into a whole bunch of other people that I'd been hiking with. Like a list, I gotta check them all off, gotta run into everyone else a second time. Should be really cool. We've also been seeing a huge wave of northbound hikers. Yesterday we probably passed 50 of them, most of them through hikers. It was just crazy. It's such a huge bubble. The majority of them skip the Sierras. And then I ran into Claire, who I started the trail with her. She was at Scout and Frodo's, and that's where I met her. And I hadn't seen her again until now, which was like surprising to see her again, but she did not skip the Sierras. Apparently she is doing 38 miles a day as her average, so she's just about to wrap up the trail. I can't imagine doing that many miles a day. Right now Duck and I are just doing 22-mile days, but my feet are definitely limiting me because of the blisters.
Hey.
Duck and I just took a break at Dewey Lake. Is this one Dewey? Dewey. The water's perfectly clear. It was so gorgeous. It's all sand right there before it turns into silt, and it was just swam around. Had a late breakfast and tea and coffee. It was really nice. Mount Rainier just keeps getting bigger and closer. So right now, Duck and I are being eaten alive by flies. They are driving us crazy and biting us. We're pretty miserable. They're definitely driving me crazy. They keep going after one spot on Duck's leg too. That's been really miserable. And I got sunburnt today, and it's thundering, so it might rain on us. And I just saw a bunch of elk. I was ahead and walking alone, and then I heard some crashing. I saw one elk, and then I saw another. I ended up seeing four, like maybe 10 seconds between each other. They were kind of spread out. I actually heard a little alarm bark from one of them before, and I would just walk through the middle of the herd. I split them up. They were straddling the trail and just ran off. And then I saw a bunch of them pass in the woods. All the bugs are really bad right now. And then I got to a clearing, and they were all standing around there, and saw them run off. Shortly after that, Doug hooted, and I was like, oh no, I can't call back to him. And then he 3 minutes before. And then he caught up. We walked together, and we heard them calling each other off in the distance, and and saw them run across the trail, or heard them in the bushes. We saw them heard them a bunch of times. We saw a couple. It was just really cool. I haven't seen elk in the wild before, so this really made my day. It kind of felt like being in Jurassic Park, right, Doug?
Yeah, the noises are definitely the same.
Yeah, because in Jurassic Park they recorded elk for sounds of some of the dinosaurs, so it sounded like they were just like velociraptors in the woods and were just walking out here.
Well, I felt pretty calm here. If those were velociraptors, I don't know. Dig a hole, bury yourself. Best deal.
Not sure exactly what it was, but some weaselly shaped critter that I'm not familiar with just took off in the bushes and ran up along the trail. It was so cool to see that. Like, I'm definitely gonna look up what it was. Not sure if it was like a marten or I'm not sure. I'm definitely gonna look it up. Wish I caught it on camera. I haven't seen elk in a while, but I've been walking along this trail for a couple miles and there's just all these fresh elk prints. They've just literally been walking along the trail in the direction that I'm headed for the last 3 miles at the very least. Now Duck is ahead of me, but I think these tracks are on top of his footprints. So there might be like a herd of elk. There's at least 2 of them. Just 2 sets of tracks between Duck and I. I'm really curious if he saw any, or maybe I'll see some. I'll keep going. So I was wrong. I've not been following elk footprints. I ran into a couple guys who are hiking with llamas. The llamas are carrying their gear. So they said they have 4 llamas and they're up ahead. I don't know if they're just unescorted or if they're with someone else or what, but well, it's pretty interesting. I'm like less than a mile from town, so I'm sure I'll see them when I get to the bottom.